On the rooftop of a high-rise, Gabriel watches the city below. He is a low-ranking guardian angel, assigned to prevent distracted drivers from crashing while texting behind the wheel. He appears silently in the backseat of their cars, and with a gentle touch, he brings the vehicle to an abrupt and timely stop. One afternoon, he appears behind Arj, an aspiring documentarian who survives through small freelance jobs. Arj is frustrated after losing yet another opportunity, and he admits to himself that he is close to giving up. After reading his messages, Gabriel touches him to stop the car just before an accident. The impact is avoided, but now Gabriel worries about Arj's emotional state. Arj continues his day running tasks through an app called Task Sergeant. His first job sends him to a famous bakery with a line that stretches across the block. He is not buying anything for himself. He is being paid to wait on behalf of a client. After 2 long hours, the clerk announces that the buns are sold out. Arj calls the client to explain that he will not charge for the buns, but he also asks not to lose the task since he invested 2 hours. The client cancels anyway. Arj grows even more upset when he learns that most of the buns were bought by Jeff, a wealthy investor who always receives priority. Next, Arj heads to a client's home to do laundry while a rude child questions why he is not using his college degree. Irritated and exhausted, Arj vents his frustration, which earns him a poor rating. More tasks follow, including assembling a desk and restocking shelves at a hardware store. As he drives between jobs, he ends up with a parking ticket. Gabriel continues to observe him from the background. During a lunch break at the hardware store, Arj meets Elena. She is trying to organize a labor union to improve working conditions, but Arj dismisses the idea because he works independently. Elena insists that he still deserves better treatment, but Arj believes nothing will change. That evening, he sees her again at a food stall, and they share dinner. He talks about his dream to work as a documentarian, and she encourages him. Gabriel is relieved to see Arj finally smiling again. Later, Arj parks his car in a store lot where he plans to spend the night. When his father calls, he pretends he has an apartment and acts interested in hearing about a cousin's success. He struggles to sleep, so he plays a relaxation podcast, but the free version constantly interrupts with ads he cannot avoid. Elsewhere, Martha, the angel manager, gathers all guardian angels to share stories about their assignments. Each protects people from different dangers, like floods and accidental falls. One angel, responsible for lost souls, describes the fulfillment of guiding someone back to meaning and purpose. Gabriel listens closely and longs for that same kind of impact. After the meeting, he asks Martha for more meaningful duties. She tells him the assignment is extremely difficult and that he is not ready. Meanwhile, Arj's life continues to spiral. A guard often finds him sleeping in the parking lot, and Arj pleads not to be removed. For showers, he relies on a local gym. There, he befriends Leonard, a homeless man who also uses the facility. Gabriel watches their interactions with growing curiosity. One day, Jeff hires Arj through the app to clean his garage. Arj completes the job quickly and effectively. Jeff offers him snacks and promises a high rating. His to-do list is full of trivial tasks, and when Arj points out he could help as an assistant, Jeff agrees to a 1-week trial. Over the following days, Arj proves himself valuable. He works fast, solves random issues, and handles every request without hesitation. Impressed, Jeff officially hires him and gives him a company credit card for work expenses. With this small breakthrough, Arj can finally afford a motel. Later, Jeff informs Arj that he keeps a gun for emergencies and shares the password to the drawer. When Jeff hears that Arj has a date, he loans him a jacket and suggests a restaurant he considers affordable. Arj and Elena enjoy their evening, but Arj is stunned when he sees the prices. What feels cheap to someone like Jeff is far beyond Arj's budget. Still, he refuses to look embarrassed in front of Elena. When the bill arrives, she offers to split it, but Arj insists on paying and uses the company credit card. The next day, Jeff asks about the dinner charge. Arj apologizes and explains what happened, promising to repay him. Jeff fires him anyway. Suddenly homeless again, Arj leaves the motel. With no tasks available, he resorts to selling plasma. The process leaves him sick and dizzy, while Jeff goes through his own self-indulgent cleansing ritual. That night, Arj falls asleep inside a restaurant and is forced out by a waiter. When he steps outside, he discovers that his car has been towed. Gabriel appears in front of Arj, startling him completely. Gabriel tries to calm him by explaining that he knows everything about his life and that there is still so much worth living for. With a single touch, he shows Arj a vision of his future. In that timeline, Arj works long, exhausting shifts as a delivery driver and shares a home with Elena at her mother's house. Over time, they both secure steady jobs and eventually move to Texas. Even then, their salaries are not enough to pay for surgery for their sick dog, and they are forced to let the pet go. When the vision ends, Arj breaks down in frustration, insisting that a life full of hardship is not something to hope for. Gabriel admits that these situations are not part of his usual responsibilities, so he is unsure how to inspire hope. Arj says he wants a life like Jeff's. Hearing this, Gabriel decides to teach him that wealth is not as perfect as it seems. He touches Arj, and a bright light fills his vision. When Arj opens his eyes, he is sitting inside a luxury car parked at the store lot. He is dressed in expensive clothes, and when the guard approaches, the guard assumes it was simply an accident that he fell asleep. The car's system asks if he wants to go home and displays the route. In the morning, Arj arrives at Jeff's house. As he looks around, Jeff appears in casual clothes and says his chores are complete. Arj asks whose house this is, and Jeff states it belongs to Arj. After seeing his own photos inside the home, Gabriel appears and explains that he exchanged their lives. He gives Arj 1 week to learn a lesson. Over the following days, Arj lives in complete joy. He spends money freely, assigns all chores to Jeff, and handles company decisions by merely dining at upscale restaurants. Whenever something breaks in the house, he replaces it without hesitation. When Gabriel speaks about the hidden frustrations of the wealthy, Arj dismisses them because life seems effortless. Eventually, Arj visits Elena, who does not know him in this reality. They connect instantly and enjoy a date at the same restaurant as before. This time, the waitress informs them that their dinner is complimentary. At the end of the evening, they share a kiss, and Gabriel begins to worry that this plan may backfire. At the end of the week, Gabriel asks Arj if he is ready to return to his real life. Arj refuses. When he fears Gabriel might force him, Gabriel admits he does not have the ability to do that. He can only restore reality if Arj agrees. That night, Gabriel confesses to Martha what he has done. She panics, revealing that Gabriel was originally assigned to help Elena, not Arj. She orders him to convince Arj to switch back and removes his wings as punishment. The next day, Arj hosts a pool party. Gabriel arrives and says the situation is unfair to Jeff. He touches Jeff to restore his memories. Jeff panics for a moment and then faints from shock. The guests assume he is dead and run away. When Jeff recovers, he begs Arj for his life back and offers $200,000 as gratitude. Arj laughs at the offer, pointing out that Jeff spends the same amount on a single watch. Their argument intensifies until Gabriel intervenes, explaining that Jeff will not remember any of this once the exchange is reversed because the experience belongs to Arj alone. After arguing further, Arj agrees to switch back, but he demands a few extra days to enjoy the wealthy life. Jeff accepts the deal and claims he can rebuild his success with enough hard work. Since Gabriel no longer has wings, he asks Jeff for a place to stay. They end up sharing a bed in a motel room. The next morning, the motel manager tells them they need to leave. Jeff convinces her to give them 1 more day and promises to bring the payment later. With no other choice, Jeff begins taking delivery jobs through an app while Gabriel follows. Jeff quickly learns how difficult it is to live with little income. Customers treat him poorly, tip very little, and blame him for mistakes made by restaurants. He struggles to keep up with traffic, and other drivers shout at him for slowing them down. He also realizes that many places have replaced delivery workers with robots. At the end of the day, Jeff becomes furious when he discovers that the app pays weekly and they do not have enough money to stay in the motel. They sleep in the car. Meanwhile, Arj invites Elena to travel to Paris with him, but she refuses because she has responsibilities with the labor union. Arj complains and Elena becomes upset. She explains that although he is wealthy now, she still works and must fight for her quality of life. Since Arj does not seem to understand, she leaves. Feeling devastated, Arj goes for a drive and begins texting behind the wheel, crashes, and ends up in a coma. Gabriel learns the news from another angel and tells Jeff that he must remain poor for a few more days because Arj cannot consent while unconscious. Jeff panics and convinces Gabriel to seek assistance from higher angels. Gabriel goes to Martha, who decides that the situation is beyond repair and fires him. He must now live as a human. She says she may reconsider restoring him as an angel if Arj agrees to return life to normal. Gabriel's body immediately begins to change. He feels sweat forming on his skin and a strange sensation in his stomach. Afterward, Jeff takes Gabriel to a fast food restaurant. Gabriel has never eaten food before, so he asks many questions, including how he is supposed to know when to stop chewing. Once he finally tries the meal, he is amazed by the mix of flavors. He also admits he is scared, and Jeff tells him he has a plan. The next day, Jeff visits one of his companies, hoping to offer ideas that will get him a job. Instead, he is removed from the building without being heard. 3 weeks pass, and Jeff applies for hundreds of jobs. Not a single company calls him back. Meanwhile, Gabriel becomes addicted to the internet, so Jeff decides he needs to work as well. Gabriel soon finds himself washing dishes in a restaurant. When he receives his first paycheck, he panics after seeing how much is taken by the government, and the rest is not enough to survive. His coworker Felipe explains that he has 3 jobs and tells Gabriel that he needs a second one. Gabriel is stunned because he does not have time for more work or personal tasks. At the hospital, Arj wakes up. A nurse tells him that Jeff and Gabriel visited him several times. Arj refuses to return to his old life and asks the nurse about the side effects of a coma. That night, Jeff receives a delivery request for his former home and becomes excited because he realizes Arj is awake. When Jeff arrives, Arj pretends not to know him and claims he has memory loss from the accident. He even hands Jeff a pamphlet as proof. Later that evening, Jeff tells Gabriel the news. Gabriel is struggling so much with human life that he has started smoking. Jeff keeps asking for help, and Gabriel suddenly remembers that he was originally assigned to help Elena. He believes that guiding her in the right direction now might influence Arj as well. The next day, in the hardware store break room, an employee becomes tired of Elena's efforts to form a union. Elena continues her speech about doing what is right. Gabriel appears and supports everything she says, adding more inspiring words. Once the staff realizes he is not an employee, the guards remove him from the store. Later, the employees vote on unionizing, but most vote against it. Gabriel sees Elena looking heartbroken on the bus and decides to get drunk. Felipe finds him drinking on the street and takes him to a club to raise his spirits. While dancing, Gabriel bumps into a driver he once saved, and Felipe explains that she is his wife. Seeing the happy couple reminds Gabriel that his work does matter. Meanwhile, Jeff receives a message from the delivery app. Starting next week, most deliveries will be handled by robots. His rating does not meet the new standard, and his account is shut down. Jeff becomes furious and begins cursing. When Gabriel arrives, Jeff goes on a long rant about the system. He cannot understand how people manage to avoid being depressed, and he realizes how unfair everything is. The police interrupt when they tow his car because of unpaid tickets. Desperate for money, Jeff decides to go to his house to take his watches. Arj is hosting a birthday party on the same date as Jeff's birthday, and even dances with Jeff's routine. While Jeff hides, Gabriel grows concerned when he notices that Arj's father and Leonard are at the party and no longer appear poor. Elena is working as a server for the catering company. Arj tries to talk to her, but she is focused on her job and walks away. On the balcony, Leonard finds Arj looking upset. Arj explains that Elena does not want him because he is wealthy, and he feels guilty for taking everything he now has. Leonard says that wealthy people always take something to get ahead and tells Arj he is different because he bought an apartment, food, and clothes for Leonard. Inside, Gabriel eats chocolates without knowing they contain Mary Jane. He feels strange and talks to a woman before falling asleep. After the party ends, Arj convinces Elena to dance with him. Elena says she should have gone to Paris with him because her struggles did not lead anywhere. She lost her apartment and now sleeps in her cousin's car. She refuses to go with him now because she understands how difficult life is for the people she is trying to help. Once the apartment is almost empty, Jeff steps out to retrieve the expensive watches since the drawer code is the same. After taking them, he tries to leave, but Arj sees him and panics. He opens fire and hits Jeff's arm. Arj rushes to him, saying this is exactly what Jeff told him to do in an emergency. Jeff realizes at that moment that Arj never had memory loss. The next day at the hospital, Arj apologizes to Jeff and asks Gabriel to restore their lives to normal. However, Gabriel explains that if Arj truly meant his words, the change would have already happened. Arj only wants the exchange because he feels guilty, not because he believes his own life has value, and that does not count. Jeff finds the situation pointless, since no one would be excited about being poor. Until a better solution is found, Arj allows Gabriel and Jeff to stay with him in the luxurious house. The three spend time together, relaxing and enjoying the comfort they did not have before. Soon, Martha appears to check on Gabriel. He expresses his confusion, explaining that he does not understand how he is expected to give hope to humans when their lives are filled with hardship. Martha explains that a lost soul does not need an angel. They need another person. Gabriel does not understand her meaning, and Martha disappears without offering further clarity. Later, the three go out for tacos, and Arj is surprised to see Elena. She explains that she and her co-workers are planning to push for unionization again. She has learned that change never happens quickly and that she must keep fighting through every setback. When she asks where she can unwind, Gabriel takes everyone to the club. After some time dancing, Gabriel still feels like a failure and steps outside to sit alone. Arj joins him to offer comfort. Gabriel points out that Arj also gave up, and now they share the same situation. They have no future and no place to live. Yet Gabriel admits that being human taught him many enjoyable things, including eating, dancing, and forming friendships. Arj begins to understand that all the friends he had as a wealthy person were not real. He misses the time he once spent with his family, who loved him genuinely. He realizes Gabriel is the best angel he could have received and admits he wants a future built by his own effort, not one taken from someone else. At that moment, he finally accepts that his life is worth living. Gabriel smiles and places a hand on his shoulder. When Arj blinks, he finds himself back on the night his car is towed. The restaurant employee feels bad for him and offers him a ride. Meanwhile, Jeff grows lonely in the large empty house. The next morning, he discovers the unpaid parking tickets Arj accumulated while working for him. He pays the debts. Later, when Arj tries to retrieve his car, he learns Jeff has already covered the costs. Arj then calls his father and admits the truth about his situation. His father is supportive and reveals that Arj's cousin was caught evading taxes. At the next company meeting, Jeff announces that salaries and benefits for app workers will be improved. He refuses to replace workers with robots or artificial intelligence and declares that anyone who disagrees will be removed from the company. Soon after, Arj gets a delivery driver job like the one he saw in Gabriel's vision. Realizing he does not want to continue down that path, he resigns by writing a message on the whiteboard. His decision inspires other workers to quit as well. Arj begins creating a documentary about gig workers and continues dating Elena. One night after they share tacos, he leaves one on the table for Gabriel. The movie ends here. Let us know what you think about this movie in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more movie recaps.